Hey guys, how's it going? Just a quick video about what I see happening right now, which direction we could be going. Yeah, let me just kind of walk you through what I'm seeing anyways. So for Bitcoin here on the hourly chart, I'm seeing we have really strong resistance here that we've built up throughout history, going all the way back until where we actually made, let me see if I can get back here. Maybe I'll put it on the 4 hour so we can jump back a little bit faster here. Yeah, we can see that we have a strong history of resistance here going all the way back to 2024, early 2024, before we finally broke through. We're still, it's become another resistance for us now. We got to break through that and we have to hold it. So basically, what I'm seeing here is we've got a bit of a pennant or a flag, sorry. We've got a bit of a bull flag here, and it looks to me, actually, let me bring it here, this is what I'm seeing here. Something like this. It looks to me that we were hitting, we couldn't break through, we broke through, we retested, we hit this resistance again, came back, retested, and now we're trying. Bitcoin really wants to break through this resistance here at about 72 to 73,000 and then turn it into support. And that's what we need to see if we want to reverse this trend. We want to see it break through 72, 73,000 and then turn it into support. That's what we want to see. Something like this. And it's okay if it hangs out there for a little while and builds a strong floor before we continue up. So far, so good. It's been frustrating. It's I didn't expect us to go down this far, to be honest. But we're here now. So where are we going from here? I don't think we hang out and go lower. It's not impossible, but I don't see it um, going down to what people are calling 50K, 30K. I just don't see it. Like if we jump out to the daily, we can see we've been holding the support of previous all-time highs. There's a massive amount of support here. Like it's crazy. Um, Previous cycles, previous dips, we haven't really gone too far below previous all-time highs, right? In my opinion, I think there's a lot of evidence to support it that this here, this double bottom we saw here, this would have been Bitcoin's floor if we didn't have the FTX black swan and then we dipped lower for a period of time. This would not have happened in Bitcoin if we didn't have a unpredictable once in a lifetime type thing, industry specific black swan. Uh, and yeah, like even if you put, for example, you put the S&P 500 over top of it. Let me see here. Right, you can see that it had these same double bottom. It had this double bottom right here, and then it started to make its way higher. Okay, Bitcoin, in my opinion, would have done the same thing, started making its way higher if we didn't have that industry specific black swan of the FTX collapse. It would have done the same thing, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's clear. You can see there's obviously correlation here. We have the same bottom here, the same bottom here with COVID, right? And then we would have had the same bottom here and then higher highs going up. Okay. So that's just one point that I think I wanted to make is 19,000. Maybe if you caught a bottom over here, maybe you would have got 18, 17,000. Nobody would have gotten that. Maybe over here, 18,500 would have been the bottom, which is the same as the previous all-time high. That's the point that I'm trying to make here. All right, let's clean this up. All right, so I think there's solid reasoning that the previous all-time high is going to act, or at least do its very, very best to try to act as support now also. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing there. Now, if we jump out to the weekly, we can see that the last two times I'll say, right? Because I've already discussed that this here could have been or should have been, in my opinion, would have been um, the actual floor for Bitcoin. If FTX didn't happen, we would have saw a double bottom here, and then it would have taken off. So last time we were this low in the RSI, as low as we are now, would have been the same time that we would have bottomed, excluding the FTX collapse. We would have got this double bottom and then continued higher from here. Okay, so then I can take this and then I can say the last two times that we were this low and then broke through the moving average, the base moving average, the RSI base moving average was here and then here, right? The original time we broke through and then we would have continued up, or we can say we fell back through because of FTX, and then when it broke through and held, we had this stair step all the way up to new all-time highs. Um, so yeah, I think that's very, very positive for where we could possibly be going. Like you can see it here also. Uh, we got really deep, we broke through, and then we had a massive move. We got really deep, we broke through, and then we had a massive move. Right now, we're sitting there at this point where we are. Let me just move this. Look how close we are to possibly breaking through. Can we get a rejection? Yes, of course, it's possible. But if it happens, and it's going to happen eventually, if this is the time that it happens, we can see the results. We can see how Bitcoin moves when we get a confirmation of this breakthrough. So if it happens now, there are going to be a lot of people left in the dust. It's going to be an aggressive move, I think. And everybody's going to be calling for a dead cat bounce. Well, perhaps there is a lot of resistance here, right? There's a lot of resistance here at 88, from 80,000 to 88,000 to 90,000 even. There's a lot of resistance there. So that's another big level that we're going to have to break through and hold. And it's probably not going to be that easy, right? So we'll see how that goes. Let's deal with this first. Something else that looks really interesting. Right, here's the chart that I shared the other day, the TPQ. Every time that we printed one of these green dollar signs, it has been the bottom, or at least a symbol, just a signal just before the bottom came in, right? We got the signal here. We ended up a double bottom. This here is the S&P 500. I overlapped it so that we can see. If we just discount the FTX collapse for a moment, then we can see that this printed, and then we got a double bottom, and then we're moving up. This printed, we moved up. This printed, we moved up. The same as the S&P 500. Okay, Bitcoin did the same thing. Can we get another black swan here where we make a new bottom? Well, it's possible, right? That's what it is. It's black swan. You can't predict it. You certainly can't count it in as something that's going to happen and say, you know what, I'm going to wait for this black swan to happen before I start DCAing in. That's ridiculous. Doesn't make any sense. So you go with the data and you assume that there are no black swans going to happen. If one does happen, then maybe that's an opportunity to put a little bit of extra money on the table. But that's what I'm seeing. If you look over here at gold versus Bitcoin, this is another signal that Bitcoin is due for a run. Can we hang out here at the top for a little bit? Can we bounce? Can we bounce on this ceiling here a little bit? Yeah, of course we can. We did it here. We bounced a little bit, right? We had a few weeks up here, but eventually it rolled over. It rolled over. It rolled over. It'll roll over again. I'm sure of it. I can't guarantee anything, of course, but it's a pattern. It's a pattern. It's been in a trend. All we can do is talk charts and what's the most uh, what's the most possible, right? That's all we're talking about here is probabilities. Okay, so this is one that I'm watching also. And if you take a look over here at blockchain decoded, you can see right now we're at 25%. Let's take a look down here. Last time we were at this price, we had a big move, or not this price, but this risk. We had a big move. We're basically at the exact same place we were for COVID, where we had a mid-cycle drawdown and then a huge spring, right? We didn't make it as high as past cycle tops. We didn't make it above 80 over here this current cycle so far. We highest we made it was to the low 60s, so not even close. Excuse me, not even close. Closer to where we made it before we had the turnaround over here on COVID. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're seeing something similar to this, drawn out longer because it's taking a lot longer for the Fed to make pivots, for the Fed to lower rates. The business cycle is being slowed down, right? And yeah, I went into an article about why I believe that is because of how much money they printed, how low rates have gotten during the whole COVID pandemic and the overreaction from the Fed. And then what the Federal Reserve had to do to pull all that back. It had to do quantitative tightening for an unprecedented amount of time. It had to raise rates faster than it ever had to do before to a higher place that it ever had before in that period of time, in that short period of time within just, I think it was 18 months. They had to raise rates from virtually zero to almost 5.5%, and they've never had to do that before. So we're still dealing with the fallout of that, which postponed everything. Anyways, I believe, and it looks to me, looking at this data here, that we're on a like it really looks like we're about to make a pivot here um, over the next couple months. So we'll see what happens. It does seem like this Fed is just stuck at not doing anything and just waiting until the next Fed takes over. So maybe that happens. Maybe we don't see anything. Just pause until Kevin Warsh gets confirmed, and then once he's confirmed, even before he is actually sitting in the chair, he's basically has the power, right? Yeah. So kind of shadow chair is what he's going to be acting as soon as he gets confirmed in the Senate. So we'll see how that plays out. But it looks like some pretty big cuts June for the last two quarters. of the year, the second half of the year. So we'll see how long this thing plays out. It's not on a timeline. We could have a continuation of the bull run from the second half of this year all the way in through 2027. We'll have to watch and see what happens with these charts. It's not on an egg timer, right? Okay. So let's also take a look here real quick at the risk wave. So the risk wave set to Bitcoin, we can see we're basically at the same point that we were here during, let me turn this tooltip off for a moment. So we can basically see we're at the same situation where we were during the COVID correction, mid-cycle correction, sitting right here in the 20s, high teens, right? Just started to print a green, just started printing a green, saying this is very undervalued, and in my opinion, a great place to start the DCA. If you or I or anybody was DCAing when this was green, then you're in a good spot, awesome spot. And if you started DCAing out when it was red, again, incredible spot to take profits. We haven't seen red yet. We had red over here at the top of the 2017 cycle. We saw it over here for the first bump in March 2021. And we saw orange, just like we saw orange before the whole COVID crash, but we haven't made it above 80 points yet. So this basically following also the business cycle, which is pretty insane. Anyways, I just wanted to do a short little video of what I'm watching right now, what makes sense to me, and what I'm getting excited about. And I think this is a reason to get excited, these lows. Uh, if you have a little extra cash in the wallet, personally, I'm doing everything that I can to put a little bit more DCA money. I'm putting it into the low risk coins right now, personally. Um, Putting it into Bitcoin right now, a little bit into ETH. I'm going heavy into Bitcoin right now because it's not confirmed yet. It's DCA area, but it's just not confirmed yet. And if we are just getting started in the business cycle because of how long it's been postponed, and if things can kind of just move sideways macro wise for the next couple months because of monetary policy and uncertainty in the Fed, I want exposure, but I don't want high risk exposure. So this is kind of what I'm doing in my plan. All right, guys, I'll leave it there for now. Enjoy the rest of your week. Chat soon.